Welcome back. You're still watching Daybreak on this 14th day of July 2024, and it's time that we want to have a conversation this morning on the future of the IEBC. You will recall that last week Mr. Erastus Ethekon was sworn in as the third chairperson of the IEBC. Of course, those that have been there before him, he is Wafula Chebukati the late, and Isaka San, who is currently the chair of the Independent Policing Oversight Authority. In studio I have Professor Colin Sodote, who is the chairperson, Council of Legal Education. Good morning.
Morning. Very good to see you. Good
to see you too. Steve Ogola is an advocate of the High Court. Good morning.
Morning, Sam. Thank you.
And you utaongea kwa sauti kidogo.
Mjanipatia chai.
Hawajakupatia chai?
No, thank you, Sam.
Judge Murugara will be joining us shortly. He's the Member of Parliament for Tharaka constituency and also the chairperson of the Justice Legal Affairs Committee. As soon as he's here, we'll be bringing him on board. This morning, the papers, Lagat off the hook is the main story in the Daily Nation. They're talking about the DIG, who is today expected to resume office after investigations cleared him of any wrongdoing over the death of teacher cum blogger and Alberto Jong, who died in police custody. The police chief was forced to step aside following public pressure and youth-led protests. Then you also find on the front page the Standard, it's oh no, not again. And after a day-long standoff between two state security agencies, the police and the prison service of where 24-year-old Julia Kariuki lost her life, the prison service has admitted she died in their custody, though they claim she arrived already injured. It's the harrowing tales of what's been happening in the hands of police officers and now seeing a situation at the prison service. Then you see how police conceal evidence after taking lives of innocents. A security guard was shot outside his workplace at Steamer Plaza on June 25th. He was rushed to hospital but was declared dead on arrival, and a postmortem later raised fresh questions. The bullet, which had not exited his body, was missing from his abdomen. You will recall there's a current inquest into the death of Rex Masai, and the family says that on the night he was shot, they could see the wound and the bullet, but the following morning it was not on the body, which has become an investigation nightmare. So we'll get back to the situation in the country politically. But first, let's talk about the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission that has a new team. Prof, what do you make of this process? We've waited for this since January 2023, when Wafula Chebukati and two other commissioners retired, and now here we are.
Thanks, Sam. I think first, it's a good thing that we now finally have a commission. And I say finally because we have taken longer than we should have, for no reason. The process of preparing for an election is extremely difficult. The task that Erastus Ethekon and committee and commission have is a thankless job, and taking any day from them is not fair. So I'm happy that we have it, but I'm sad that as a country it's taken us close to 3 years since the last election for us to do this. It was not necessary.
And Steve, I know we've been having these conversations and all the challenges that lie ahead for the country and also the commission. But for you, so here we are.
Yeah. First of all, some hearty congratulations to the newly appointed commission. I wish them the best. And I urge all Kenyans to extend goodwill and support to this new commission. It's a competent commission, to borrow Prof's words when you said off-air. You cannot doubt the technical capacity of these commissioners, and therefore we wish them well. Some election management generally has three components, and we always sometimes neglect the most important component, which is the people. The people, the law, and technology. I think what is pressing is how we perceive the commission and how the commission communicates its actions and decisions in a manner that is like to boost public confidence. We want the people, and I urge all Kenyans, to extend great support to the commission. They're starting on a clean slate. They have 2 years. So we start by giving them the benefit of doubt and trusting them to do the right thing, the right way, every step of the way. And then they also have to give back by making sure that their decisions, timelines are communicated with the involvement and the input of the people. Then, of course, you look at the law, we look at technology, because those things implicate election management.
And are there any lessons you are taking from this? Because you recall that as soon as Wafula Chebukati left, there's a selection panel that was gazetted. Then after that, there were all challenges, political challenges. There's your team saying that this was a one-sided selection panel that saw us go through a national dialogue committee process. Then thereafter, there were all manner of cases opposing the nomination to the selection panel. Are there any lessons you're picking from those 2 years of time that has been wasted?
Well, the most important lesson is we as Kenyans have not updated our mind that the Constitution demands a neutral expert commission. And that's why we keep on politicizing, and we've seen Prof decrying the delay in reconstituting the commission. Partly is because of unnecessary, endless litigation around composition of the selection panel, around the interviews, and you saw this newly appointed commission has already been hit, was already hit by litigation. And I look at the good side of it is you have the High Court now validating the process of appointment. So if you are not caught up in partisan political posturing, it would be easy to say the law as is demands that we have a neutral expert commission appointed through a merit-based process, which is the selection panel, but we keep politicizing. And I can tell you, Sam, we just have to live with it. It's part of our democratic architecture. People will politicize even this new committee, and I hope they have a thick skin. Because when you're a commissioner, and you pose this question to Prof and I, why would you not apply for these jobs? Because you know, beyond the technical skills, you must have the mental stamina to withstand unnecessary and unwarranted attacks to serve in that office. The idea is not to be reactionary. The idea is to be steadfast and focused on your mandate. But I think, by and large, it's a good start, better late than never. This is 2 years too, as opposed to 1 year too. Actually, that was 9 months, 8 months to the election, Chebukati Commission. We have 25 months to the elections. So it's a good start, whichever way.
Chebukati was actually 7 months.
7 months, yeah.
Because I think they came in around 17th of January 2017.
Yes.
The election was in August. Prof, we'll get to the work that IEBC has to do. But at this early stage, today they commence their first full week in office. What is it that they must avoid or they must do to ensure they don't fall into the traps that previous commissioners have gone through?
I think Steve said that there are 3 things that are important, and the first one was the people. I think for me, the one thing the commission must avoid is to be inward-looking. If they spend their energy locking themselves up in advisory towers and seeing the people as an unnecessary irritant, they will lose it. They must, from day one, go out to speak to the people. I was just reflecting on the Chebukati Commission, and I remembered Bomas, and at Bomas, a few days too, you saw huge press, and you guys were covering it, press engagement, they were talking to the people, and even the days that the results were being announced, you saw the religious leaders being there praying for them. I wish they were not doing it at Bomas, because IEBC is not at Bomas. I wish they were doing it all their time. So my first message to this commission is please engage with the people. I think they need to learn from one person. I was just looking at the program for induction. I wish they were speaking to CJ Mutunga. Because one of the things that CJ Mutunga did for eternity to the judiciary is to tell the judiciary that, you know, independence is not closing yourself out. Engage with the people. It even enhances your independence. Speak to everybody. Don't agree with them. And even when you don't agree, tell them, I have heard you, but I don't agree on this one. Because it is that speaking to the people that will be able to protect you. That's, I think, the one thing that they should do. The one thing they should not do, because that for me has affected both Chebukati 1 and Chebukati 2.
And for you, Steve, you know too well, so the Sakasan team was okay up until the election. when there were all manner of allegations. Eventually, they were chased out of town. I think it was in November 2016, if I'm not mistaken on the dates. And then thereafter, the Chebukati team, 4 commissioners, the Cherera 4, were removed after a petition was filed. But there were other commissioners that had to resign after they fell out in the boardroom. So how can a commission avoid the trappings of politicians?
You know, the way they say that the first casualty are the kingmakers, I would like to urge this commission not to put reliance of whatever nature from politicians. I know there's a lot of lobbying, back-end lobbying and conversations of expression of political support. It's a very risky affair to rely on political support to undertake your functions. And that's why there's room to learn from the judiciary. If you look at the judiciary part, the radical surgery, and the vetting of judges and magistrates, one of the key lessons that we learned, which this commission can learn from, is that those who had political godfathers, who were deemed to be conservative and anti-reform, were axed. Those who were deemed to be pro-people, you know, radical reformists, survived. And judiciary has learned, and that's why there's a pattern in court which can inform the commission's approach. They are safer bidding on the part of the people than relying on the hidden, on the invisible hand of political godfathers. So this commission must de-emphasize publicly, and they must delink their work from whatever political expression. We saw in the last election, political factions, depending on what they thought the commission was doing, whether for or against their political interest, expressing support or castigating the commission. I think this time around, the commission must aggressively discourage any express support from the political class, because that support is what changes the perception. If Kenya Kwanza comes out to express support for this commission, they must dissociate themselves from that support. If the political opposition comes out and says, we don't need this commission to be defended by any political faction. And we need them to rely expressly on what the law says and how they can use the law to engage with the masses. So if they get that, that is a very important lesson. The second lesson is flowing from the 2022 election. Corporate governance. We certainly do not want to see infighting in the commission. And we hope that this commission will quickly understand what looks like the policy mandate of the commission as against the administrative mandate of the secretariat. I pray, Sam, that the chairman of the commission and the CEO work together. You may not have known this, but there was a lot of tension when Chebukati assumed office.
Yeah.
It took him a lot of time to settle in the commission, because sometimes commissioners come into office with an overly reform posture. And we think the secretariat does a great job, and when the commission comes, they need to look at the secretariat as facilitating their work, not inhibiting their work. And I hope, Prof, when you do the induction training, you will emphasize the collaborative greatness that is needed between the commission and the secretariat. Then they will realize that the greatest lesson is not in the law. And somehow hope we de-emphasize over-reliance on the law as the only pathway to delivering free, fair, and credible elections. The law is a very small component of the entire architecture and election management. In India, the Electoral Commission rides almost entirely on public support. It's difficult to notice election disputes when they occur because the people trust the commission to do the right thing the right way. And I emphasize, the right thing, the right way. So I think if we, and of course there are many other conversations that will keep emerging, if you use those as starting points, you can expect this commission to do a great job, by and large.
And I want us to listen to what Chairperson Erastus Ethekon said during the swearing-in ceremony at the Supreme Court when they were sworn in the presence of the Chief Justice.
My first and foremost loyalty is to the people of Kenya, and therefore I wish to assure Kenyans that their voices will not only be heard, but they will also count. That as we plan for the by-elections and the next coming general elections, that we work together collectively to ensure peaceful, credible, transparent, and accountable electoral processes.
The cry from every corner is for transparency, accountability, and justice. Whatever you will find not working and serving Kenyans properly at the IEBC, you must confront it and you must fix it.
Right. Of course, you can see the commitment from the chairperson, but also the wishes from the Chief Justice. Prof, if you're to look at, so there's also an aspect of this a fairly young commission, if you're to look at the leadership, especially the chairperson and the vice chair that was elected on Friday. But at the same time, there's already a perception out here from different quarters of political inclination. If you're talking about the chairperson who is said to have worked with the former governor of Turkana, who now works with the president at State House. If you talk about Commissioner Hassan and others, including Andy, who has been the registrar of political parties. I mean, is that even necessary? And how do they, in this period of transition, ensure that that perception falls off? And what remains in the minds of Kenyans is a committed commission ready to work.
A very interesting country, Sam, because I listened to the concerns that were raised, and yes, legitimate concerns to be raised. But if you ask yourself, what does the Constitution say in terms of qualifications? And none of those things that were being raised were in barriers in the Constitution. Number two, Chebukati ran for office on a political party. Ran for office on a political party. These guys have not even been members of a political party. The reality is that even if it was today Collins Odote running to be the chair of IEBC, tomorrow you'll be told, you know, he was the chair of CLE, he was appointed by X. Everybody has some levels of engagement. Thankfully, the courts have been able to deal with those issues and said, put them out of the way. But I think for me, the critical thing is the commissioners must come in knowing that, look, there are some people raising concerns about our past associations. So what is critical is how we engage into the future. I just want to underscore one point that Steve made, and that is, as they go in, they will realize that they will either survive together or be hanged separately. So if they start having private engagement with the political players, people will know it will go against them. I once told a former vice chair of IEBC, and I won't say who they were, there have been three, thankfully. I once told one of them that, by the way, these politicians who are your friends will be your friends until political party nominations happen. Then friendship ends. The day the friendship ended, they called me and said, how did you know? I said, it is common sense, because politicians by nature do not want what you are doing. They do not want you to organize a credible election. They want you to organize an election that favors them. So you must recognize that by the nature, if you do a good job, you won't be friends. So therefore, don't overinvest on being too lovey-dovey with them. But please also recognize that you are running a political process. Elections by its very nature is political. So therefore, you must engage them. But engage them from a point of objectivity, then they will come to be able to respect you. So for me, that's the one thing that this commission must be able to do, and do it consistently. If you are fair, if you are honest, if you engage, then people will recognize, oh, yes, it is true she used to be the registrar of political parties, but that is not negatively influencing her. Yes, it is true he used to work in Turkana county government as the legal counsel, but that is not negatively influencing. Then people start to generate confidence, because one of the things you must do, the people that you are close to, you must treat them extremely objectively, so that people realize if that is how he's treating Steve, then even Collins that he doesn't know, he will also treat fairly.
Interesting. And of course, we will be getting deeper into what is it that is ahead of the IEBC. So remember that as of March 2024, the country should have concluded the process of boundary delimitation. As we speak today, there are at least 6 parliamentary vacancies at the National Assembly. At the Senate, you have one more. Back at the National Assembly, you have the nominated seat of ODM still vacant. You have several, more than 10 MCA by-elections that need to be conducted. At the same time, there is a process that has not been going on. That is the voter registration, because the team of Hussein Marjan, who's the CEO, said that there was a gazettement stopping the process of continuous voter registration. Shall we see it coming back, and what implications would it have if we had to go ahead and do boundary delimitation? We have that conversation after this break. You can write to us at CitizenTV Kenya. The hashtag to use is Citizen Debrick. We're back in a moment.